I recently made a video about America losing its ability to empathize, right? A lot of apathy. And I think I was wrong in that video because I don't think that actually perfectly describes what's going on here and the connection to capitalism. What's going on here really is a German word, and I hope I don't butcher it. It's Schadenfreude, which really is when people derive joy. They get joy from watching others suffer, the misfortune of others, right? It's a mix of, what is it called? Schaden and Freude, which is harm and joy in German. I probably said that the other way around, but just stick with me. So I've been thinking a lot about that concept as we watch what's happening with the right in America, but it's also starting to happen with the left. People just don't realize it, right? And you see the F around and find out. Now, I get the context of that, and I understand the nuance, right? This is what happened in voting, and this is the result, and you have to live with it, and you're sitting there watching it all burn like the rest of us, right? But you're watching it all burn, and it's affecting you. But when I think about Schadenfreude, and I think about where the economy is today, and where America's sort of, capitalist, hyper-capitalist, what I call it. Some of you guys call it late-stage capitalism, but hyper-capitalist stage that we're in. And you think about it, right? The understanding is that the top can, the 1%, they have what they have, right? The middle, you want your middle class to be really strong. You want them to be able to participate in debt-based capital, right? 30-year mortgage, affordable, right? They still feel good. And then you have the bottom, and you want a little bit of flooring. What I'm thinking is happening is you're watching a rise in this participating of Schadenfreude, right? And while you're watching a decline, right, in everyday's American ability to obtain any sort of capital or to live just a basic life, right? And if you look at the middle class, the joke about the middle class, keep them fed, keep them, with something that they can call on. They'll be happy. They'll get their joy there. When that starts to become missing, you start having a lack, right? You see this weird connection, right? Almost a sadistic thing in finding joy in other things that's actually not benefiting them. It's easy for a lot of us to see it in MAGA, right? So, middle class is going down the drain. MAGA's infuriated. They think this guy's their savior. And this guy's feeding into, he's telling them sometimes, I'll come and reduce egg prices day one. But that's not really what's about. But they know, on the other hand, because he won't reduce prices, the stock market is doing what the stock market is doing. And he's now saying that's Biden's stock market. You then see that they're getting joy from the other stuff, which is ICE, and we're going to block these people up, and jail, and the welfare, and you're like, well, we're going to cut Medicaid, Social Security, yeah, because the people, and but to them it's justified, right? This, watching the misfortune of others is justified. But then that leads me to the other side of the spectrum, because what a lot of people don't realize when you participate in Schadenfreude, is that eventually, as you guys say on here, the leopards eat your face. All right. Or as you guys say, F around and find out. But my fear now is on the other side. The left, someone like me, I'm openly liberal. I never hide. I'm open liberal, and I try to be reasonable. But I'm openly liberal, and I'm also very anti-MAGA. That doesn't mean I won't talk to a Republican. The Republicans are different to me than MAGA, but they've kind of co-opted the whole thing. But you get my point. So you now see in the left, though, when they F around and find out, I get it, right? Like I said before, 1 time, 2 times, and then you start noticing people are also getting joy, because the whole point here is, our capitalist state is fucked, right? They start getting joy instead of remembering this was all about problem solving. You start enjoying that farmer suffering because of his decisions in your head, right? But it's really, at the end of the day, surface level, it's still just you getting enjoyment and watching others' misfortune. So I thought about these two concepts, and I was like, damn, that's, when you think of lack of capital, you think of a bad economy, you just immediately think of suffering kids in the streets. And I don't know. No, this is one of the small effects of that, is the increase. What I used to think was just a lack of empathy, where I think that now evolves into this Schadenfreude, which is actively looking for people's misfortune, actively looking to watch people suffer and gain your enjoyment there, because you can't just go buy a house for, 2.7%, work your little 40 hours, enjoy your weekend off, watch your kids play baseball, and have a good old time, right? So that connection, definitely middle class. All right, that's all I got.